Hey everyone, I am Sean. Welcome back to MUFC versus everybody. Thank you for stopping by. I know some of you are probably a little in recovery following that result. Obviously, we're going to do my match reaction today to Manchester United losing 1-0 at home to Arsenal. Pretty big match for both sides. And I got a little bit of updates to do as far as just United news roundup, but wanted to go live after the game a little later than I usually do. But what I really like about going and watching the United matches at like Loaded Dice Brewery, so big up Loaded Dice, but I love going and hanging out with the Detroit Red Devils supporters group. Big up Detroit Red Devils, always a fun hangout. It's just the conversations I have. It's good to chat with other fans, share ideas, even disagree about a lot of things. Today we had a guy, I won't say his name because I don't want to put him on blast, but yeah, he's actually a Liverpool fan, showed up today just in the area, wanted to catch a match, have a drink, and it was a blast to chat with him, talk to him. It ended up turning into a bit of an Arsenal hate chat, but that's all right because that's okay. We don't mind that. But no, it was a good match. Good always to hang out with those guys, and love to talk tactics, stats and things with another guy there. I don't want to put him on blast either, but it's good to hang out and talk to him. He's a guy looking into getting into coaching in the future. He's a really smart guy, really knows his stuff, really good, insightful knowledge of the game and perspective on things. So it's always great to talk to people like that. And so always a blast. Hung out for like an hour after the final whistle, just talking about a lot of different things. So I always have fun. So forgive me for being a little late, but now that I'm here, we can dive right into this match reaction. First and foremost, though, ladies first, I do got to give a big up to the Man United women's team. They did win their FA Cup trophy today in a match against Spurs. I was catching the first half before I left my house this morning, and I did manage to catch that really excellent solo goal from Ella Toon. Such a good play, such a good little drop of the shoulder, such a good little pullback to send that defender sliding and then put that ball on a postage stamp in the top right corner. Beautiful place and beautiful goal. And obviously the women went on to win that match 4-0, which great. We got the youth team winning trophies, the women's team winning trophies. Maybe the men's first team can win a trophy the end of the month. We'll see. It's not looking likely, but there's always that outside chance. Though one-off matches, you do never know. And some managers are well known for being able to pull out some craziness in one-off matches. We'll see. Pep has tended to be his own worst enemy in a lot of these trophy matches, these finals, but we'll see if Ten Hag can make some magic happening. Obviously, it's going to have a lot to do with who we have available player-wise. But I think we saw today that Ten Hag can introduce a little different system when his back is against the wall. I wish he would have started to do this sooner, but we'll see. So before we get stuck in, please don't forget to hit the like button on the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. I really do appreciate that. If you're stopping by for the live chat, I love it. Share your thoughts in the comment section in the chat below. I will kind of moderate it if things pop up as I'm talking. So please keep things respectful. I don't want to have to derail a conversation to delete things and call people out. Let's all keep it respectful. But let's dive in. 1-0, obviously at home. Not the result that I predicted. So obviously, given context, how we've been playing and how Arsenal have been playing, obviously they're challenging for the league. We are nowhere near challenging for the league. We have all these injuries. We've been playing like shit. I predicted, if you remember my prediction a few days ago, I predicted a 3-1 loss to Arsenal today. So a loss is never fun, but 1-0 probably better than a lot of us would have thought it was going to be. Still a loss, still not 3 points. When we need them, every point is crucial right now. Look at the table. So we're still 8th. We're still on 54 points. Chelsea are ahead of us in 7th with 57 points. They came out of nowhere, didn't we? And then West Ham are breathing down our necks. So they've played one more match. They've only got one match to go, but they're on 52 points. So if we don't manage to pull something out, we could be stuck in 8th. I don't know Who Chelsea have next? So Chelsea have Brighton next. That could be an interesting one, and they've got Bournemouth. So Chelsea could drop points. It's a very much possibility. The best we can get is 60 points, which is only going to take us to 6th at best. Not obviously where everybody wants to be, but it is where we are right now. Again, context is key. Injuries, players, but then also we're shit. That's probably the biggest piece of context I could provide. It's brilliant analysis, right, Sean? It's amazing. So let's dive into this match. So we lined up a little differently than I would have thought. Not in a bad way, but I think that in a bit of surprising, obviously we talked a little bit about fitness heading into this. McTominay, Rashford, and Bruno are kind of question marks. And Rashford did not make the bench. Bruno did not make the bench. McTominay started on paper on 10, and then Ahmad probably obviously playing on the right. Ahmad didn't have his best game. It was a little difficult for him to get involved, but obviously Arsenal were pressing us all over. Not only were Arsenal pressing us, especially in and around the edge of our box when we were trying to play out, which always kind of gives everybody a little mini heart attack, right? But they were able to get back into their shape really, really quickly. So part of that has to do with Arsenal just being fitter and getting back into their shape and being more well-drilled. But a lot of that had to do with the fact that our attackers were just taking a little too long, too many touches, carrying the ball, holding on to the ball a little too long and not passing, not moving, and not maybe playing that pass or getting a shot off when they really needed to, not seeing the open man, not trying to link up. And it was getting a bit frustrating. Garnacho, bless him, he tries. He does a lot. He's very active. It's obvious that that's kind of our out ball more often than not. I've spoken about that before in the past. But he's young, so you're patient and you're understanding. But he's doing the same things that Rashford does. He's holding on to the ball a little too long. He's trying to muscle his way or trick his way through 2 or 3 defenders, and he's losing it. And it's costing us opportunities. I feel bad for Højlund. He wasn't really. How many touches did Højlund have? Højlund only had 17 touches. For a striker who played almost 90 minutes, 17 touches. What are you supposed to do? Do you remember that stat from a few weeks ago when Højlund, the teammate that Højlund received the most passes from in that match was Onana? This is why it's like a thankless job being a striker at United. You just never see the ball. And it's frustrating to watch. You can tell he's getting frustrated. I really hope it doesn't kind of kill his joy, kill his love for being at United. I know he's a United fan. It's his dream to come here. I hope that it doesn't frustrate him to the point where he's going to be like maybe switching off a little bit or wanting to leave. Obviously, this is a lot to get into. I'm going to close this window because while it is hot in here, the sunlight is coming in. But we'll see what happens with Højlund. What do you guys think of the attacking lineup? I know McTominay was kind of anonymous for the most part. Let's see. He passed the ball. He got a lot of passes. We were moving the ball around a lot. But I think, like I was getting to, is a little too much. Too many passes. One pass too many. One step too many when we needed to just take a shot. We were getting in advanced positions, but then passing it back. And I don't know, you guys think that was a coaching thing? Do you think that's a player confidence thing? Maybe it was an Arsenal thing. Maybe they were just getting back too quickly in their shape. I don't know, but there were opportunities to get the ball in the box. I didn't see anybody taking responsibility. I didn't see anybody making any sort of urgent plays. I didn't see anybody trying to make something happen in that regard. It seemed like we were trying to almost walk the ball into their box and try to get something going. And it is unfortunate. We had more shots than I would have expected. So we had 14 shots to Arsenal's 11. We didn't have any big chances, though. And only 2 of our shots were on target compared to Arsenal's 5. So our shots just weren't accurate. We were getting into good positions and some chances. The shots just weren't really happening. Arsenal, yeah, they're everything as far as expected goals, everything as far as chances, everything as far as getting in the box, they were doing well. And so it's unfortunate. The goal we conceded was just it was sloppy. Um, Again, it was just the result of Casemiro not playing in his preferred position. It was a result of Evans kind of not being quite fit, running a little ragged. Obviously, Evans went off as a sub later on, and just I don't remember where Dallo was for that. I think the comment I made at the time was, Where's Dallo? Why isn't Dallo back here defending?" And this is not for the first time in recent weeks that Dallo has kind of been caught in too advanced a position when we're defending. We lose possession, and Arsenal they transition so quickly. And this is the kind of ball that Ten Hag has been trying to play. It's not. I think people hear transition and they think counterattack. Transition can happen anywhere on the pitch. When it is a counterattack, yes, it's a transition, but transition can also come from pressing high and winning the ball high up the pitch, like Arsenal did for their first goal. That's how quickly can you go from your rest defense to let's won the ball, now let's everyone start attacking, and we'll get into our attacking positions. And Arsenal did that. Simple kind of pullback. We get sucked to the byline, they get pulled back, and then just a simple little tap in for Trossard. And it's frustrating. It's a sloppy goal. The defense fell asleep for a bit there, and they got caught out. And that's the kind of goal that we've seen us concede many, many times. The kind of goal you really shouldn't be conceding as frequently as you do at this level. And it's the kind of goal, quite frankly, that defenders and players of this experience, like Casemiro and even Johnny Evans, that's the kind of goal they shouldn't be conceding. And it's frustrating to watch. Could have been a lot worse, but it is what it is. I'm very surprised that we didn't concede more goals. Honestly, I almost was getting the impression in the last 10 minutes when we were kind of turning things. Anthony came on and started to he brought a little bit of energy to the side. I almost got the feeling maybe we could tie this up and it could end 1-1, but obviously that didn't happen. This wasn't. I feel like this result wasn't that necessarily that we were shit. It was just that Arsenal were better. Because honestly, even within the first few minutes, we were playing with a lot more composure than I've seen us play like in a long time. We were keeping the ball on the ground. We were passing it around. We were being a little more patient. I feel like, though, with a little bit more experience from these young players and a little more discernment in decision-making in the final third, that patience can go from taking too long to being a little bit more decisive. Because it's okay to be patient when the opportunity is not on or when you need to kind of pass your way out of trouble and out of pressure. But when you get to the final third, you need to start to kind of pick things up a little bit, because as we've seen today, Arsenal dropped back into their shape too quickly, and that patience turns into an opportunity lost. So I thought we were actually good, aside from just some wasted attacking opportunities and then switching off a bit for that one play. And that's the thing. Like, I didn't think Casemiro overall was bad. I didn't think Johnny Evans overall was bad. It was just, again, a simple little mistake, lack of communication, lack of, fitness, and a lack of positional familiarity as far as Casemiro is concerned. So I can't dig any single player out today. Even like Amrabat, I thought did very, very well. I was looking at his stats, very good. And today we saw the Amrabat that, so a lot of people will say, "Oh, we bought him based on a World Cup." That's not why we bought him. Ten Hag's worked with him a long time ago. At Fiorentina, Amrabat was not the player you saw at the World Cup. I've said this time and time again. Morocco went into the World Cup ranked like 21st, 22nd, 23rd in the rankings for countries. That's like sending up against like Sheffield United, City. Like, when you go into a situation like that, Sheffield United are going to sit deep, they're going to play compact, they're going to hit you on the break. This is exactly what Morocco did in the World Cup, and that's what Amrabat's job was in the World Cup. If that's just the way it works. So the setup there made him look more defensive, and he did it well. But Amrabat is a ball progressing midfielder. He's a holding midfielder. He's not a deep line playmaker in the sense of a Frankie de Jong. He's more of a Michael Carrick or like a Busquets. Play is going to go through him when someone's got the ball and they're under pressure and they need to put it back through a conduit. That's Amrabat. And Amrabat did that very, very well today. I thought he was very composed. I thought he moved the ball well. I thought he got stuck in. He won the ball back several times today. Amrabat had a good game. And it's unfortunate And it's not all his fault that we haven't seen that enough from him this season. So he's on loan. He was forced to play out of position early on in the season because of our injuries. He was injured himself. And then for some reason, Ten Hag just hasn't wanted to play him. And yeah, in some situations, he hasn't looked quite up to it. But I thought the last few matches, he's looked just fine. I think he played like, the only negative I saw from Amrabat today was he played like one pass. It was a miscommunication on our left-hand side that just went out of play. It was like a 5-yard pass. Again, it's kind of like when keepers get beat at their near post. It happens way more often than people realize, but everyone wants to call it out when it happens and use that one moment as like a see, I told you. Look at everything else Amrabat did. He completed all of his dribbles, won a lot of tackles, made an interception, 7 recoveries. He won 4 out of 7 of his ground duels. Like, he had a good game. He made 15 passes into the final third as well. So again, he's playing those balls. He created one chance. He completed almost 90% of his passes, and he made like 70 passes. So good match from Amrabat. I thought Mainu wasn't bad, but he wasn't great. I think that Mainu is suffering a little bit from just being overplayed a little bit. He completed a lot of passes today. He completed a lot of dribbles. So obviously Mainu was kind of the, I'm going to carry the ball a little bit and not the, I'm going to make a pass kind of guy. But he's a young player. It's his very first season in the Premier League, and he's only been fit since like Thanksgiving. And so he's played a lot of minutes for a player who's only 19 years old. So it's unfortunate that he's been handed that responsibility, and it's unfortunate that he's had to be that person in this United side right now with as shit as we are and as the injuries we have, but it is what it is. And so I think when that happens, you need to make things simple, disseminate the complexities of the game and the tactics in the moments into their smaller components and just start building a foundation from there. Keep things simple. And I thought we did that really well today. Just because I said it wasn't a great match for me doesn't mean he was bad. It just wasn't what we saw like the last few months. The last few matches I think have just come a little bit too much. Again, Garnacho wasn't a bad match. It's just he's young and everything is going through him, and it's unfortunate that we have to rely on so many young players right now, because the one consistent thing about players like that age is the fact that they are inconsistent, and we're kind of hitting a dip right now for both Garnacho and Mainu when it comes to, they were up, and now they're both kind of in that low spot where they're kind of off a little bit. So Garnacho had 3 shots, none of them were on target. Or he had 7 shots, sorry, but 3 of them, none of them were on target. A lot of them were blocked, some of them were just off target. Everything was kind of going through him. None of his crosses were accurate. He put in 6 crosses, none of them were accurate. His passing has just been off, and it's hard when the passing is off, but then your shooting is off, because then even as a player, you're like, what do I do? So you might think, oh, my passing's off. Okay, I'm going to try taking a couple shots. Or my shooting's off. I'm going to try to pass the ball around. But none of that is going well for Garnacho right now. And I think, again, in Rashford's absence and Antony's struggling form the last few weeks, I think that, again, Garnacho is another case of a young player, again, 19 years old, who's had to take on more responsibility. Because obviously we see a lot of our passing is going down the left-hand side, and that's putting a lot of pressure on him. Doesn't help that he's doing a full Rashford and trying to take on so many players, but it is what it is. So all in all, I didn't think we were bad. Trying to think of anything that stood out. McTominay was kind of anonymous. Again, like I said, he's getting some touches. He just wasn't really happening for him, and he's coming back from injury. He's playing in a little different position. Obviously, we've seen McTominay excel when he makes late runs, and when he's getting into the final third sometimes, especially on some set pieces or when there's some opportunities for a ball dropping to the edge of the box. But today he started in that number 10 position, which carries a little different role than if you're starting as like a 6 or an 8, and you sometimes drift into that number 10 area of the final third. And we've seen that McTominay, when he's taking up the same positions, especially in the attack, as our striker, it's almost creating a redundancy. And when we don't have wingers that put accurate balls into the box very often, you're taking 2 players out of the game, essentially, which is unfortunate. I think in that case, I might have rather have seen Eriksen line up and start as the 10 instead of McTominay. because Eriksen will at least, when he gets the ball, he'll be able to pick the pass. McTominay can't pick the pass. There were a couple times tonight where he had the opportunity, and I think he knows, like, that's not me. I'm not that guy to pick that pass. I'm not that guy to make that, thread that needle and find Rasmus or Garnacho. Like, he can't do it. And again, it slows everything down, and it's frustrating to watch. I wish he would have used his size a little bit more. There were a couple opportunities when he found the ball with his back to goal in the box, and instead of kind of keeping it at his feet and trying to use his size to hold off Arsenal, he would pass it back or give the ball away. And I think that obviously he's not a 10. Obviously he's doesn't have that kind of ball control and passing ability, but at the same time, the skills and attributes that he does have in those situations, just the size and the strength, I think he could have used those a little bit better. So it is what it is. Again, I don't think this was the case of United being bad today. Much, much better performance than against Crystal Palace. Nobody thought we were going to win this match. Nobody had us as favorites. And I know there were some stats going around earlier, like Arsenal haven't won at Old Trafford in however many matches. Like, again, I don't like that stat. It's like saying, we've always beaten Bournemouth or something. Like, well, even from a couple of years ago, Bournemouth are a completely different side than they were. Like, it doesn't make sense, those stats, because it's different players, different managers, different systems, different everything from when the stats started. So it's context. Arsenal, you have to look at context, and Arsenal are much, much better than we are right now. They've got, like, I think the only injury really they have is Timber, and he's not really ever featured for them in an actual competitive match. So he doesn't. Does he really count? I mean, does he? He's never played for him, so he doesn't really count. They have the same defense that they've had, and so what would Timber have brought them that they didn't have? What are they missing without him? They're not really missing. You can't miss something you never had. So their players are better. Their form is better. They've had a lot longer to build that squad, and they don't have as many injuries. So 1-0, I think, is probably about the most optimistic I would have expected from this match. Although, like I said, I predicted 3-1. It's weird to me how many United fans I saw on social media wanting us to lose, like wanting us. There's a difference between expecting us to lose and wanting us to lose. It's so strange. You should always want to win matches. So these people are either the Ten Hag out crowd, who always, no matter who the manager is, they want us to lose when they get to that breaking point because they don't want the manager and they want him sacked, which is just weird. I'm not the kind of person, I'll never try to put out there what I think it means to be a good fan or a bad fan. Like, no, that makes you a real fan. That doesn't. I'll never do that. But I will say that wanting us to lose because you want a manager sacked, it's just weird, people. It's weird. It's sad. It's agenda-driven hate, and I can't stomach it. You guys are weird. Like, I'm sorry to call people names, but that's weird. That's so weird. Like, give your heads a wobble. Have a look in the mirror and think about your life. So you have those people who want us to. Then you have these other people. So we got into a little bit discussion of this at the bar. Like, who do you want to win the league? Who would you rather have win the league, Arsenal or City? And it's like, I never hesitate when I say this. I say City. Arsenal fans are already insufferable as it is. There's delusion and there's just this weird, like, arrogance to them, which I don't get. They haven't won anything. And again, like I've said, if Arteta doesn't win anything this year and bottles this opportunity to win the league, Arsenal fans, are you ready to have a serious conversation about your manager? Because what has he done? You know what I'm saying? So of the two, yeah, I'd rather have City win. You know why? I give you 115 reasons why. I'm not going to go deep into it because that's a whole nother video, right? But 115 reasons why City can go ahead and win any trophy they want, because if they get done, all of it gets taken away. If Arsenal win the league, that doesn't get taken away, does it? Arsenal fans are already miserable and insufferable as it is. We can't take it if they legitimately win the league. It's the same as Liverpool winning the league. It's not great. We don't want it. So let City win the league. The United fans who want us to lose today because it could prevent City from winning the league, that's weird to me. That's so weird. And they'll say that it's because, that's what you should want with your rival. We don't want City to win 4. Like, City aren't rivals, for one. They're not rivals. Arsenal and Liverpool are more rivals to us than City are. So let's just have that straight. And again, it comes back to 115. City can say, oh, we won 4 in a row. Cool. If that gets taken away because you got found guilty for cheating, then it's going to get taken away. Same as your Centurions, same as your treble, same as Haaland's goal scoring record, same as everything. It all gets taken away, this included. So it doesn't really matter to me. We can't let Arsenal win the league, and so it is what it is. 1-0 at home to this Arsenal side, this United side. Not the worst result. And I know everyone's going to sit there and tell me I'm happy that we lost, or I don't care. Like, I do care we lost. I want to win. I'm bummed that we lost. But I also am realistic. I didn't expect us to win. I don't think anybody did. So it is. I'm not happy that I was right. I'm bummed that I'm right. You want to be proven wrong in those kind of situations. But at the same time, could have been worse. We almost clawed it back there at the end. I feel like we had some opportunities, and it just wasn't happening. I think Anthony had a good chance to make something happen. Garnacho had a good shot opportunity. I think there was a chance where Højlund had the ball down and we could have done something in the box. It's just, I feel like whenever one of our attackers got the ball in the final third or anywhere near Arsenal's box, there were 2 Arsenal defenders like just on them. So it's impossible. There were times when Højlund had the ball in the box and there was no teammate within like 20 yards of him. There were about 5 Arsenal jerseys all closing down, but there's no opportunities. Arsenal are just very, very good at pressing the ball, cutting off the passing lanes, and just transitioning. And they've had many, many years to do that. Their players are better. Their managers had a long, long time to implement that style and get the players he needs for that. And our players are either injured or shit. So what can you ask for? You can't sit here in one breath and say we have this many injuries, our players are not good enough, but then turn around and get mad that we didn't beat this Arsenal side. Like, we can't do it if you just said everyone's shit and we're injured. So it is what it is. 2 matches left of the season. We got another one coming right around the corner on Wednesday against Newcastle. Then we've got the final match of the season this weekend against Brighton. Brighton played Chelsea. And so they could maybe do us a favor. Where are Brighton at in the table? So Brighton could technically catch us if we lose both these matches, but and they win both their matches. But we're tied. We have same. We're both -4 in goal differential. We just have 6 more points, and so it's going to depend. West Ham could easily catch us. Bournemouth, I guess, could catch us. So theoretically, you could say, depending on it, if Bournemouth score a ton of goals, I mean, yeah, we could drop to 11th. But I think 8th is probably our sweet spot, unless we somehow get 6 points out of 6. But we will see. It's going to take magic from the rest of these teams around us. I don't know. So I'll come back tomorrow for my 3 thoughts on this match. But honestly, I'm not as angry as I was against Crystal Palace. I tell my wife all the time, I can accept the loss. What I do not accept is crap performance. And today's performance wasn't crap. It was a lot better. I saw some fight. I saw some composure. I saw tactics from Ten Hag. And I wanted to point that out as well. We did play a little differently. We did play a little better. We were a little more patient. We weren't trying to do the things that he's been trying to do. It did frustrate me a little bit that we were trying to play off in the back again, but I don't think he's ever going to stop that. I think that it's one of those things where you can get everybody playing that way, then it won't be as, it's a little bit more smoother transition. But at the same time, Arsenal press high and it's hard. So other than that, I think we did well, pass the ball, move the ball around a lot. I just think that we just didn't do enough in the final third today. Had we had a little bit more urgency, a little bit more discernment and good decision making, a little bit more just speed of thought in the final third, we could have gotten a point at least from this match. But we will see what happens in the next few matches. That is going to do it for me today. Got, like I said, Newcastle and Brighton. Join me again later on this week. We will go into the preview of the Newcastle match and then right around, and it's going to be probably a combination 3 thoughts and preview after that for the Brighton match. So I will see you all here. I hope you guys will join me. Before I go, please show some love and hit that like button on the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Don't forget to go check me out, MUFC vs. Everybody on Twitter. And I will hopefully see you back here tomorrow and the next day and the next day after that and the next day after that. And then we've got FA Cup final, Champions League final. Maybe I'll do something for Champions League final. We'll go from there. But appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to leave a comment. I will reply to all the comments as well. But I will see you guys in the next one. That's it for me. Take it easy.